You ever, when you're growing up, you ever want like more? You want more opportunities, more privileges, or as we would call it as adults, responsibility? I mean, that's no disrespect. Young people, I mean, I was there once. Like, I want more, I want more responsibility. I can be trusted with responsibility. I can have these things and I'll handle it all right. It's like we suddenly are heaped with this responsibility. Like, you get grown, you are grown up, you are an adult, and you're making adult decisions. And then sometimes you kind of backtrack and you're like, man, we shouldn't have all these responsibilities. Everybody thought, I thought when I grew up, everything was going to be great. Everything was going to be wonderful. I was going to live my own life. I was going to make my own journey. I was going to blaze my own path. And I was going to be responsibility for me. I was going to do me. Even young people, like those of you guys that are listening today, like who are in high school or whatever, you're like, I want my job so that I can, buy my own stuff. I want my own vehicle because I want independence. And then all these things begin to land on you and you're just like, yeah, I've got it. I've got all this stuff. And then you suddenly begin to feel the heaviness of responsibility, Luke 16:10 tells us about responsibility. Now it says this, it talks to us about, being faithful with the little things, because if you're faithful with the little things, God will trust you with the big things. Now, I don't know about you and your experience, but I've sometimes found that being faithful, being responsible for the small stuff can be more challenging than responsible for the big stuff. Like, as absurd and ridiculous as that is, like, the little things of life, the seemingly small things of our experience, the seemingly small things that we are supposed to take care of, are supposed to handle, supposed to do something about, like those things we often find most difficult. Yeah, I can handle big things, like, you don't make a house payment or a car payment, you don't go into work or whatever, you're going to have issues. But like, you start to mishandle the small things, you will find out that the big things are being affected by the small things. If you can't handle the small things, you are going to have less responsibility. Not in a, and I'm not telling you to like ruin the small things because you've got too much responsibility. Well, what I'm telling you though is, like, you got to do something about every single detail of your life. I want to be trusted with big things, as scary as it is. So, I want to be trusted with God's greatest for me. I want to be responsible for the wonderful experiences that the future will unfold. And if I'm going to experience those wonderful things, those amazing things, those, if I'm going to be trusted by God with the big details of life, then I've got to learn how to be responsible for every single thing, even if I think it's the most minuscule and unimportant reality. Like, do something about the small stuff. Do something about the small stuff. The small stuff is an indicator of your character. The small stuff is an indicator of your integrity. The small stuff is an indicator of who you are. It's not just God himself. It is your bosses. It is your teachers. It is the people in authority over you. It's your own parents. Like, if you aren't trustworthy with the small things, why are they going to trust you with big things? If you're not responsible for the hard work you're going to need to do right now, why are you going to get a promotion? If you aren't responsible, if you aren't able to be trusted, you're not able to be trusted with the things that you think are unimportant, why are they going to give you an increase in things that are important? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fool around. Don't be silly. Don't be foolish. Don't dismiss things because that's just a little thing. I'm just going to let it go. You're going to miss out on life. You're going to miss out on opportunity. You're going to miss out on future. Just a case in point, like in a marriage relationship, in a relationship period, in a relationship with your children, your parents, in any kind of relationship, you miss out. You skimp on the small things. You skimp on the I love yous. You skimp on the Post-it notes that just say something kind and nice. You skimp on, what you might consider the small and most menial, expressions like thank you. You skimp on those things. You don't take care of those things. You don't deal with those things. You don't do those things. If you don't act on those things, and the big things of love, the big things of your life, the big things of your marriage, the big things of your relationships with your kids or your siblings or your parents or the people around you, your relationships are going to be affected. They're going to be they're going to begin to break down. Emotional effects will happen because you didn't take seriously everything. You didn't take seriously the small things. You didn't take seriously, you didn't take seriously the things that you should have taken seriously. If you would have taken those things seriously, you would see that the grander things of your relationship, it'll grow, it'll become more beautiful, become more wonderful, because then you are entrusted with the deepest, most personal, most powerful, most significant, most wonderful things that only can happen when you put a level of action, when you decide, I'm going to give just as much effort in the little things as I am the big things. Guys, I'm praying for big things. I want wonderful things to happen to you. I want God to increase in your life. I want exponential blessings. But you better do things. You better do things that are necessary. My first job in the church was cleaning toilets. My first job was cleaning toilets. And some people might look at that as a small task, but I tell you right now, every person that walks into the church, every person that steps into that building, if it's not clean, if it doesn't look sanitized, if it doesn't look healthy, if it smells bad, they ain't coming back in through those doors. See what I'm saying? That might seem like a small task, but I tell you right now, that is critical, that is important, that is something that is so very valuable for the work of the church. And don't you despise, don't you ignore, don't you neglect what you think is small, because I bet you, we shouldn't bet, but I bet you it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Hey guys, I love you. Jesus loves you more. I love you. Jesus loves you more. Be blessed, be encouraged. Later.